Good evening and welcome to the Bitternators podcast. It is Thursday, November 8th, 2018. My name is Jacqueline. Arthur's here.
Hey.
How's it going?
All right now.
Yeah.
I was having not a shitty day, but it was a day. But that little conversation we were having beforehand, put a little fucking hop in my step, I guess. It's nice knowing that I'm not the biggest fuck up out of my entire family. Like I enjoy that, right? Like it feels good. I've definitely, tried to.
How many are there? How many are there? There's in just the cousins. What?
Holy 13? Fuck! 13 of us. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're definitely not in the bottom 5,
right? Right? Like, and everything I did to this point was to put me at that number 1 fucking piece of shit spot, and they just keep blowing me out the fucking water. Like, the only thing I think I can do to redeem my fucking position as a piece of shit amongst the family is, like, start smoking crack? I don't know. Like, I
don't recommend that as your auntie. I'm going to say no. I say no to that idea.
But it kind of pisses me off. I keep getting fucking dethroned here. Like shit, man, and I don't know if I can keep up with some of the shit that I keep finding out.
There's always a place to go downward. So I guess you could if you tried hard enough.
All right.
Let's quickly talk about a couple of things. We mentioned the OCS catastrophe, the legalization of weed in the Ontario Cannabis Store. Yesterday or the day before, it was released that that on the day of the of the opening, 4,500 people had some information hacked. Now, it didn't come from the OCS side of it; came from Canada Post side.
Yeah.
But it was still that information. I got the email saying that this was what was hacked, but I didn't get confirmation that I was one of the hackies. Yeah. They didn't get any personal credit information, financial information. They got your initials, the amount you ordered, your tracking number, your postal code. And who signed for your package. I think the initials of the person who signed for your package. So, way to go. I guess, when you go private, none of that stuff happens.
Nope.
So.
Exactly. Like drug dealers have my information, and I feel safer with my information being in the hands of drug dealers than I do the goddamn government.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I know that I kind of play up my arguments and shit a little bit for the show just for sake of arguments and stuff, but like everything I said yesterday, that was real true to form anger and hatred towards OCS. I cannot fucking stand this shit.
That's on top of Canada-wide shortages and people still not getting their packages from day one. So
a friend of mine was posting today about his package and he opened it up and he got ripped off. You know what I mean? It took him way too fucking long to ship his shit. Like it's just bullshit.
Yeah. So they didn't send everything, and then he didn't credit it.
They sent him everything that he ordered, except they fucking shortchanged him on the weight of what he paid for.
Yeah.
Which I'm sorry, that's a big fucking deal. You can't be nickel and diming.
If you did that in the private world, you'd probably get beat up.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah.
At the very least.
I have fought drug dealers because they've shortchanged me. Like, you know what I mean? It's my fucking money. Like this isn't a joke.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish that maybe we'd start treating the government like fucking drug dealers.
Well, I can't beat up the postman. It's not his fault. And there's no OCS for me to go into. So they're actually got a pretty smart racket.
I guess, yeah.
Surprise, surprise, Druggy Ford, who was the drug dealer back in the 90s or 80s, whenever he was doing that. I guess he learned smart.
Yeah. Well, I think that shit was implemented way before fucking, you know what I mean? They knew they were going to fuck people over. I don't know.
So anyway, that is a little update on that. Good news, I guess, for some of our fellow, cannabis users to the south. Michigan on election day voted to overwhelmingly legalize recreational marijuana, and the governor there says he doesn't want to wait. He wants to do it as soon as possible. So,
Again,
go by Colorado standard and do it.
Exactly. You have such a good benchmark in Colorado to go off of. You might as well. You know what I mean?
I've been in Colorado 6-7 years.
Yeah, it's been some years now. I don't think it's that long.
No, it feels like it's been like short, but I feel like it's long at the same time.
It might have been actually. Fuck, I actually don't.
Because the Liberal government's been in for 2 years, and it had to be at least 2 or 3 years in Colorado before they got elected.
Yeah, I think Obama might have still been in office when they fucking So
definitely Obama was still in power when that happened. And it's been almost 2 years for Trump now. So Wow. And okay, so let's go on. We talked about the elections. So we had the midterms. The Senate stayed in the hands of the Congress or in the Conservatives.
They actually gained a few more seats.
Yeah, they were at what 49 or 50?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, 49, because 50 at 50, if it's a tie, then the vice president breaks the tie, which always goes to the Republicans right now. So yeah, they gained seats. But in the House of Representative, I guess, is that what it's called, with all the congressmen?
Yeah.
It had the blue wave, as they call it.
Yeah.
And so the Democrats have won that. They've got more than the majority that they'll need when it comes to voting, which is, it's good to have that balance.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to have the balance.
I knew they were going to win the House.
Yeah, they've been saying that even though the experts have been saying they were going to win the House.
Yeah. Now, the only reason why I thought they were going to win the House is because it's a little bit less power than the Senate, right? Yeah. Now, I mean, again, they needed a win. The Democratic side of the states needed a fucking win. So there's your win.
100%.
Feel a little bit better. Feel good about even the voter turnout. Voter turnout from what I was looking at was amazing, which is great.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that people are out there exercising their civic rights.
Even from me looking at some of the results, even in those senator races where the Republicans won, it was close in a lot of cases. I mean, we've got recounts happening in Florida. You've got Maxine Waters, I believe her name is, in Georgia, demanding a recount. She was 2% off.
Yeah.
It was very close between Beto and Cruz.
Yeah.
And other states. I mean, and a lot of governors won that were Democrats.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
the amount of women of color ever elected, which is nice.
2 Muslim women. Yeah. You had some. I saw Korean people.
Yeah, which is funny. I've been kind of shooting my mouth off online today about it. How Pence is going to shit his pants when he has to swear in these 2 women on the Quran. Right, but it's funny.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. That's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, he's gonna have to swear in these 2 women on a Quran, and
oh my god, I swear to God, like exercised after.
He's gonna wear rubber gloves and shit, right? Like he can't touch that.
Sure.
His wife's gonna have to be there with him because he's gonna be in the room with other women.
Be alone with a woman,
right? Because
not mother.
Yeah,
as he calls his wife.
Because fucking, just the overall sexuality that oozes out of Mike fucking Pence. But
like having sex with a marshmallow.
But yeah, I mean, all things considered, hey, congrats, Dems.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see what comes out. And really, I was kind of upset. My friend lives in Florida, and he's clued me in on the race there, and he was really kind of rooting for Andrew Gillum. Mm-hmm. And that's the one we were talking about, how the guy who's running against Ron DeSantis had kind of run a pretty racist campaign. He had said things like, as soon as Gillum had announced he was running, he said, we don't need him. Now this is an African-American man. We don't need him, quote, monkeying things up. One of his buddies had said, used the term cotton picking.
Now, let me ask this, though. Is that not just a fucking saying in the States? Like, because I don't know.
I kind of talked to my friends about that. I'm like, I don't use that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what about in the States? And, my friends, I have a friend who lives in West Virginia, and I have this friend who lives in Florida, and they said, they don't use it.
Okay.
And, I mean, I think you would be even more aware when you're using it with a black person not to use it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I might call my nieces like a little monkey, but I wouldn't call a little black child a monkey because someone will probably shoot me.
Well, absolutely, right? And that's like, any level of nuance is gone with that kind of shit, right? Like, even if the kid's climbing up a fucking tree, if they happen to be a black kid, you cannot call him a monkey. Like, you just can't
say that kid loves to climb trees.
You know what I mean? Even that, you'd probably be called a racist because the implication, but whatever. It's just, I just know that tobacco and cotton were such a big part of the U.S. economy.
Yeah.
I didn't think that cotton picking necessarily was racist, but
I don't know. I just know I wouldn't use it in the terms if I was describing an African American person. I 100% would not risk that.
Probably not.
So I don't know. Anyway, their race was within. Oh, so the night of the election, Gillum conceded he'd lost, but he'd only lost by 1%. And the next morning, I saw that it was 0.7%. And I think it's even closer now that they've had some more votes in, and now I think I read that, and I'm not positive because I kind of skimmed the article, 15,000 votes, separating them, and they're definitely going to do a recount there. So should be interesting to see what happens with some. At least they're not going down. They got to fight.
Yeah.
They've got to fight.
Yeah, you can't. nothing's acceptable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, make sure that it's correct, because let's face it, gerrymandering, as I've said, is an affront to democracy, and you cannot trust the fact that you can't trust this shit.
Voter suppression in the way that people were not allowed to vote if they didn't have the right ID. I know that this is what we were saying. Like, I would go only and vote in person. I would never mail in my ballot. That would freak me out.
Yeah.
Unless I was out of the country or the state, I would not go, mail in my vote. But I had a friend who was saying that 2 of their friends on election day found out afterward that their votes didn't count because they said that the signatures didn't match, which I would be like horrifying to me.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it for the ease. We all want to make our lives as easy as we can, as fucking, as indoors as we can. But you can't when it comes to shit like this. I mean, they have
crazy long lineups in Georgia, in Fulton County, I believe it was the county. They only had 3 working machines, and like lineups for hours. And the Fulton County is predominantly African Americans.
Yeah. Well,
you got to wonder.
Makes sense. I mean,
and you don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but Black people have been saying this for years, that this has been happening to them, and we're seeing it now.
It's no longer conspiracy. Like, this is no longer conspiracy. The facts are there in front of you. It's just like police brutality against African Americans. It's not a fucking conspiracy. It's fact. Like, you're just willfully fucking ignorant of facts, which makes sense. With most fucking people nowadays, that they would want to be willfully ignorant to what doesn't support their fucking argument. Well, that's fake news, right? Yeah. For me personally, it's aggravating because, like I was saying on last show, how much I enjoy being proved wrong.
Yeah, right? There's nothing wrong with being wrong. You learn something if you're wrong.
Right? I don't think I have ever learned anything by just being correct. It's giving me a fucking conflated ego, like, that's for fucking sure.
Well, we all feel good when we get to be smart.
You know what I mean? But like, I love it when someone's like, "Well, actually, no, Arthur, this is why you're fucking wrong." And I go, "Oh shit! Well, thank you for fucking."
Well, and I don't think we have fragile egos that we need to be the smartest people in the room.
Oh no. As I said, there's only one time in my life I've ever been triggered, and I'll never let my guard down like that again. So, like, say whatever
you fucking hippie.
Yeah, like, just say whatever you got to say to me, and whatever fucking tone you got to say it. I'm not gonna. You can't hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Fucking dead inside.
Yeah, with that, especially people online cannot hurt my feelings. I don't fucking know you, so.
Oh my god.
Die in a hole. I don't care.
Like, I hate how people are like, "Oh, you're triggered." No.
You can't trigger me.
You said something stupid. I combated your stupid argument with my own, let's face it, stupidity.
Yeah.
No, none of us are triggered. Like, as much as you're hoping to God that, you
now
finally
you're in the
got
bathtub
someone,
crying,
right? Like, I was, again.
Take another Ambien?
It's hockey season, so me. I'm running my fucking mouth as much as I can. And I had this guy from out in BC say, "Oh, fucking triggered Leaf fan, eh?" And I'm like, in order for me to get triggered, I have to put weight in your words. Like, I have to give a fuck about your opinion. And I'm like, "You're from Western Canada. No one fucking cares about you. And you want to talk about triggered? Holy fucking shit, the fucking racist, violent fucking tirade that motherfucker went off on."
Because the truth hurts. Sorry, Western Canada. Like, let's face it, other than you guys, nobody cares about
Nobody fucking cares. There's 2 provinces.
You guys all say that nobody cares about Ontario, but that's all you do is talk shit about it.
There's only 2 provinces that matter in this fucking country. Sorry, not sorry. That's Ontario and Quebec at a close fucking second. The rest of you are just filler. Like, no offense. You're just filler. Like, Alberta, I get it that you got all the oil, but you ain't shit. Shut up.
Without your oil, what are you?
A bunch of fucking racists. That's about it.
That's crazy. Jesus Christ. We're going to, be banned across the country?
Fuck. I don't give a fuck. What are you going to do? You going to run me over in your big fucking lifted truck with your small dick? Fuck you. Get back to the patch, you fucking wrench-turning fucking piece of shit. But I don't know. I was really impressed through the midterms that it seemed like most of the stuff I was reading, everyone was actually quite civil.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of hate.
Didn't see a lot of bullshit. I mean, your typical fucking stuff,
Yeah.
Calling Trump daddy and all that kind of weird shit. But it actually seemed, I know, but it actually seemed to be a lot more peaceful this time around. I think the last 2 years of violent political climate has kind of soured people to this online trolling shit. And it definitely seems like a lot more people got off their computers and started experiencing real life again. and realize like, oh shit, you know, the stuff that I'm reading on the internet constantly actually isn't the fucking truth. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's not like, I don't know. It felt different. It felt like a regular political election. It did not.
Let's hope that it has kind of been a turning point,
Mhm.
and that things will, you know, I don't want to say it gets better, but you know what I mean? Like, let's hope things
Yeah.
are more civil.
Let's
Because let's face it, your country's not going to move forward if you're not working together.
no. Yeah, I mean, again, it just seems like more people care about, again, triggering somebody
Yeah.
than they actually care about what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Now, I'll admit, I did the same shit. You know, I have no qualms with admitting that during fucking 45's run that I was running my fucking mouth on the internet and just saying all kinds of stupid fucking shit just to get a rise out of people. It was funny. But, you know, now that it's kind of shifted the last 2 years to fucking legitimate political fucking violence, it's
Yeah.
like, no, this ain't fucking
Yeah.
cool, boys and girls. Like, we can't be acting like this. Like, we cannot act like, again, like this is Upper Canada and Lower Canada and we're just
Yeah.
fucking murdering each other.
No, exactly.
We
you know?
can't do that shit.
And I mean, there's a lot of people out there in America, and I know it's some in Canada,
Well,
that really want a civil war in America, and that's a scary thing to be wishing that on your own country.
it really is, you know. Now, I've said it before that I feel like it's kind of moving to that point without even people egging it on.
It does feel that
feels
way.
like it's
Yeah.
moving to the two sides are at an impasse. And it's just stupid that the things that they're arguing about essentially, like they affect both sides. Like, I'm sorry, illegal immigration affects both sides.
Yeah.
You know, like but people are literally willing to go out and fucking fist fight one another, and it's, I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, it
I
is.
never thought that I would ever fucking experience this kind of shit. Like, when I took civics in high school, and they explained to me what it was like when Canada wasn't even Canada. We had Upper Canada and Lower Canada. Lower Canada being the French side, Upper Canada being the English side. And they would literally meet in York and fucking fight to the death over which political party is going to win.
Yeah.
I never, ever in my life thought, like, you know what? Yeah, that's what I'm going to fucking experience as an adult. Like, that's the political, you know, climate that I'm going to fucking live through. But we haven't.
Think about when we watch on the news and they're like, oh, you know, here's the parliament in Taiwan and they're fist fighting, and here's the parliament in Belarus, and we're like, holy cow, that's ridiculous.
It is.
It's not that far away.
But it's
not
not
even just in America. I could see that happening in some cases in Canada.
Oh yeah, fucking right.
You know, in our parliament. That's horrifying to me too.
Yeah, it's scary. It's not a way that I want to fucking live.
Yeah. And people always say, oh, America is the strongest country. It'll get through it. But you know what? Like, I do hope. You know, like I said, I have a lot of American friends.
Yep.
I have some family now in America.
Yep.
I hope things go well for the country. But, you know, like every empire falls. You know?
Well, and that's it. You know, the Americans are Icarus. They flew too close to the fucking sun, and those wax wings are melting.
Yeah.
You know, and they are in a fight for their fucking life to hold on to their national identity. But the fucking stupid part is no one can agree what their national identity is. That's the scary part, right? Is that you have people that, you know, vehemently fucking fighting out there, and they don't even have a grasp or an understanding of what it is, you know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, fuck, like, it just feels like that's just the way we've been going, you know?
Yeah. And we can see it worldwide. It's like suddenly people have woken up and realized that a globalization, you know, means that you don't get to stay lily white or you know, pure Irish or pure French or pure German, pure American, pure Canadian, and people are suddenly, you know, maybe threatened or afraid. And
I think a lot of the globalization fears, and I'll talk about my own because I'm not too cool with globalization myself, is the fact that yes, you are told that your traditions go against these people's feelings. Now, okay, I can respect that. I can understand that, and you're not wrong. But who the fuck are you to tell me that what I enjoy and my traditions, the things that I hold true to my own heart, are wrong or not? Yeah. You know what I mean? Now, I respect everybody. I mean, that basic level of human respect, at least. I mean, I hate a lot of fucking people. You know, but you would be hard fucking pressed to, let's say you're, you know, Bangladeshi, and you're a first generation immigrant into Canada, you're here a year, and you go, well, I don't respect the poppy, and I don't respect what Canada did in World War I or World War II. Now, I got a problem with that.
Yeah, me too.
I have a fucking problem with that. You are not going to fucking come here and belittle the sacrifices to the boys and ladies that answered the fucking call. Yeah. Not going to happen. Now, I would be called a fucking racist for that. In today's climate, I would be known as a racist for that.
That's true.
Right? Because now I'm disrespecting. It depends on how you said
it. It depends on how you said
obviously, I wouldn't go on some fucking, pronoun-filled fucking tirade, but I would tell them to shut their fucking mouth. You've never answered the bell for shit in your fucking life. Yeah. Go fuck yourself. Like, literally, go fuck yourself.
And I would defend you in that opinion because, you know what? You haven't done it in a racist manner. You've done it in a, you know what? I'm proud of my,
Oh, no. It's a nationalistic fucking standpoint. And the second you say nationalistic, it's now a dirty thing, right? We're apparently not supposed to be proud of the sacrifices that were made, to get us to the point that we're at now, because other
I think that's
people
a really small fringe, because I don't see a lot of people saying that. I still see hundreds of people turning out for Remembrance Day.
Yeah.
I work in a grocery store. I have a poppy box on my lane, and I watch the people either trying to take a poppy because they're too cheap to put in a nickel, or I see people, and it's people of every color, every religion are wearing poppies.
Now again,
so if there's some fringe asshole who doesn't respect the poppy, fuck them. They're gonna get what's coming to them.
Oh, they are there, but you know what the funniest part is it's fucking white people. It's the people whose fucking descendants did this shit. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you've seen the whole white poppy movement that's going on.
But I literally have ignored it because it's stupid.
It's dumb. Like, I'm sorry, how are you gonna profit off of fucking, war sacrifices being anti-war? Go fuck yourself. Like, go fuck yourself. Yeah. And being from the UK,
fine if you don't want a fucking if you don't want a red poppy.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just. And again, that's just one that I use as an example.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, and look, we've said this many times. Like, neither of us want war. Neither of us want to go to a war. Neither of us want our countries to be involved in a war.
Nope.
But war is absolutely necessary sometimes. And that's the horrible truth.
I mean.
And if you get a white poppy and say we should, you cannot respect the soldiers that died for our freedoms by talking about peace on that day. You have to say they brought the peace afterward, but they had to go out and fight, and a lot of them died.
Well, and let's not forget what started World War I too. A bunch of fucking revolutionary anarchists that decided to fucking murder a fucking
Duke.
He was a Duke.
Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
Yep. A bunch of fucking anarchists. Again, a bunch of masked old fucking fruitcakes that run around the fucking streets. Caused that shit. Caused the deadliest fucking war in human fucking history. Like, a war like World War I can never happen again because of the sheer amount of fucking ammunition that was spent.
More people died in that war than died in that live in our country, like right now.
Right now. Right fucking now. So it to me it really pisses me off. And I'm not one of these fucking defend the troops, and I'm not one of those people. I laugh at the troops all the time. I'm not going to give you respect because you peeled potatoes in Germany for 3 years. Fuck you. Like, fuck you.
I do. I do. I respect the troops. Even today, I mean, you might not be going out and fighting a war like World War I or World War II, but you're still serving our country. You're still defending us. I'll give respect to the troops. It doesn't mean I support everything that they're doing at all times. I'm not blindly.
You did something that I categorically refuse to do. When I was fucking of age, Canada was in a war, and I had every opportunity to fucking not go and sign up for the Air Force. I had every opportunity to sign up for the Army. And I said, fuck, I'm getting shot at. Go fuck yourself. Ain't worth it. I have at least 6 buddies that fucking went and did tours of duties. You know what I mean? Yeah. All the respect in the world.
Can I just say this out loud, though? Only here that we heard Jacqueline say she is a warmonger. She wants people to die. She is a racist. Yeah. That is what I heard from this conversation.
I feel like I'm having a press conference with Donald Trump.
So I have not been on the show for a little while. We took a break, but I was busy on Monday. Can I just touch base on that real quick, and then?
Yeah. Sure, go ahead.
I'm going to touch base on this real quick on Monday, or what happened rather on Tuesday. Holy fuck, was my anxiety through I was more anxious on Tuesday than I was in 2016, 2 years ago, to be exact.
Yeah.
I was more
It was a
anxious.
big day for a lot of people in America.
Of course your anxiety would be high because the last election, you were kind of lied to, and the worst possible scenario happened, right? So I can understand why a lot of Americans would have been, you know, really fucking anxious come Tuesday.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and even like I have I don't know if I should say his name, but one of my friends, I don't think I'll admit this for him. He was really depressed on Tuesday night, and he said, you know, I think I'm gonna have to go to bed and cry.
Yep.
Is it a friend? Okay. Well, I'll say this. For anybody who said it wasn't a blue wave, because, you know, a lot of the pundits, they were like, oh, it's not as big of a blue wave as people were saying it was. You are seriously lying to yourself.
Yeah.
If you did not
a tidal wave or a tsunami, but it worked out pretty good for the
but it was a wave in the sense of, think about Texas. Beto O'Rourke had a closer race than Arthur. Your size says it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, a lot of those southern
just did was everything.
Kansas went blue. Yep. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like I said on Monday.
Georgia, Kemp, and Abrams are so close.
Yeah.
Arizona is now considered a purple state. I mean, I just kind of wanted to touch base on that real quick. I know I kind of went off topic here.
Yeah, well, we talked about it a bit before you came, but it's okay. We can still talk about it.
I was so anxious, not because of what was happening and all that good stuff. You know, good. It is. You become anxious because of that in some way. I was anxious because I really wanted the American people, the American public, to prove the point of this is not the rhetoric we want.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, proven.
Well, I think it's fantastic that you had young people out voting in record numbers. You had, I think, I could be wrong. I think I read this when I was watching that Abrams speech, her not concession speech, her fight speech. I think she said 2 million more people registered to vote in Georgia. That's amazing.
Again, like, not only do you have the absolute warranted hate for Trump, you also have a lot of fucking people that, you know, that voted for him that feel so disenfranchised by the fact that he doesn't actually give a shit about you.
Yeah.
And this is the conversation that Arthur and I constantly have off air about that conservatism that is dying. Yeah. This is not the kind of conservatism that I think represents a lot of people. And I mean, the day after the elections, the way he responded in that press conference, which was about the elections.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous. I've never seen any leader come out and like actually name check and diss people in his party that lost. What the hell?
Like, I watched that press conference live and I was sitting there going, what the fuck, man? Yeah. Like, how did somebody make an attempt on Reagan's fucking life? And like, by all means, Reagan was a piece of shit, sure, but like nowhere near fucking Donnie's fucking level of piece of shit. And
you gotta blame some of the Alzheimer's on Reagan, at least.
Well, a little bit, but
but now Republicans also can't run from the idea or the fact that this is obstruction, because we all know what happened right after the elections, a couple of hours after. I don't think I have to repeat that, but this is just, it's turned into a, I hate to say this, and I hope you guys agree with me on this feeling. It's turned into a shit show somewhat. Like, this is a real temper tantrum.
Not somewhat.
And for anybody that doesn't think that a potential constitutional crisis is going to occur, you have to be drinking Kool-Aid. And really, Kool-Aid with LSD and maybe some legal marijuana from Canada. Like, this is... You've got to be deluded. You know, this is some deluded crap if you don't believe this is really happening.
You know, and that brings us to, I want to talk about that press conference with Jim Acosta. And not even just Jim Acosta. It had that April Ryan lady was harassed. But I mean, Jim Acosta was trying to ask him about the caravan and the immigration. April Ryan was trying to ask him about voter suppression. He called April Ryan a racist for asking that question.
No, it was two girls were called racist. April Ryan and the girl that works
for the other lady. That's right. Yes, lady. I'm sorry to get them.
About the because she asked the question about well, do you consider yourself to be a white nationalist? Because he said, this is going off of what Arthur was saying earlier, I'm a nationalist. See, and then he said, you're a racist. It's a racist question.
Yeah, and she then followed it up with a question, something like, well, do you not agree that you saying that has emboldened white nationalists as their leader? And he said that's racist again. And but I mean, Jim Acosta kept trying to ask about the immigration and about the caravan, and he he was so angry and shouting. I mean, he's always been shouting at Jim Acosta since he started this.
Yeah.
He's always singled him out. They've always had their little back and forths. An intern attempted to take the microphone away from Jim Acosta. White House claims that they White House claims he put her hands on it. I read on TMZ, as I like to call it, TMZ, that the video that they released has been altered.
Oh, I watched it live. He brushed her arm away from her, trying to assault him.
Yes.
Now, I don't agree that either it's an assault, like what we're fucking calling assaults nowadays. Like, let's fuck off.
Well, remember people said that when Trudeau touched that lady when he was trying to get past her in Parliament, it was assault.
Fuck off.
But remember when Doug Ford ran that lady, or Rob Ford ran that lady down in Toronto City Council? That was an assault, and nothing happened there.
Can I just ask you? Can I just pose this question, because I kind of got a little bit annoyed with some people who said, "I'm tired of hearing about Jim Acosta. I'm tired of hearing about April Ryan." You know, these reporters who have been named and have started to become household names.
Yeah.
Don't you guys seem to think that they're household names because of this president?
Well, absolutely. I think it's important when he starts saying who can and cannot come to White House briefings. You're on your way to state TV.
Well, that's not journalism. Journalism isn't telling me what I want to hear. Journalism is telling me the things that no one's supposed to fucking know. So they have to ask these fucking questions. He's just an idiot. He's just an idiot. He's a fucking man-child playing fucking president. Like, the guy's a moron.
Wannabe dictator.
I do have one beef. I have one fucking beef with what happened on Tuesday.
Okay, let's hear it.
In New York, a bunch of fucking idiots ended up at Tucker Carlson's house.
Oh, yes, I heard about
fucking screaming at him, but we know where you live, and essentially fucking threatening the dude. Now,
look, I don't care if you're an asshole conservative or a Fox News person. Nobody should feel unsafe in their own
You know
home.
what I mean? That Tucker Carlson's a piece of shit. Like, I'm not going to fucking... Now, I laugh at a lot of his videos and stuff. I find it funny, but come the fuck on. Like, this isn't... That right there will come back to bite people in the ass.
Can I just say this, though, Arthur? And I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from when I'm saying this. I am not condoning any kind of activity that's stalking or predatory towards a journalist, a commentator, a pundit, whatever.
Right.
No one should be harassed. But I will say this. When you incite the kind of hate that Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, Jeanine Pirro has, and people finally find you and you can't hide behind your cameras anymore, you should be afraid, because this is what you've done, not just to your base, this is what you've done to the other part of the country that is against that
but
kind
you
of
know
rhetoric.
what? Like, I don't care.
I'm not allowing it. I'm not agreeing with it.
I don't think you should go to somebody's home. Look, if you see them on the street and you want to yell, "Hey, Tucker Carlson, you're an asshole," good on you. But I don't think, his family lives there.
Right.
He's got children. They don't deserve that.
As much as I appreciate the sentiment, and I did, like, I honestly did. For a minute, I was like, this is funny. Like, fuck,
Yeah.
But it's, like, it's dangerous. It sets a dangerous precedent, and if the fucking Democratic side, with all their fucking faults, with them eating their own fucking tails, if they want to be taken seriously and they want to take more people from the red side over the blue side, stop doing this shit.
Yeah.
Stop doing this shit, because those old fucking people, like, those old thinking people will never, ever agree with that kind of stuff. And it hurts your fucking cause that much more.
Yep.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that, but I'm going to reiterate this again, and I hope I'm not coming off as someone who is condoning this. I really hope so. But they have to somewhat also take accountability for the actions that they have, again, allowed. Because here we go with the president saying there are good people on both sides, when that whole thing in Charlottesville. So when you get a taste of your own medicine, right? Now, I'm not saying that you should be attacking someone's children or you should never be physically attacked or followed. That's dangerous, right? Like, and I don't allow that on any sides.
Yeah.
But now I hope people like Tucker Carlson get to realize maybe I'm a part of this problem. maybe I'm part of the cause as to why this is fucking happening.
Yeah, but I think somebody
You know
like
what I'm
Tucker
saying?
Carlson and Sean Hannity and that Jeannie Pirro, whatever her name is, those people are so far up their own asses, they'll never realize.
Oh yeah, no, by those people going to Tucker's house and yelling at him the way they did,
justified everything.
Exactly, they had just justified his position on the fact of, oh well, look at these crazy liberals,
the angry mob that Donald Trump has been talking about.
Now I understand the Mars point, the fight fire with fire, that the liberals have to get a little dirty, but that's over.
That's not the way.
Well, this is not fire. This is just that's dangerous.
It is, right?
I really liked what they were doing, like when at the beginning, when these guys were trying to have town halls and the people would go in and force them to answer questions in a town hall. That's the kind of way you got to do it. You got to leave these people alone in their homes.
The last time we tried to do something like this, when we stalked someone, her name is Gabby Giffords, and she was shot in the head.
Yeah,
she was a congresswoman at the time in Arizona. Yeah. She was shot in the head. My point to all of this is, I think we
can't forget that 15 bombs were just mailed out to Democrats and Democrats.
No, exactly, right?
We can't say one is abhorrent and then accept the other side.
No, absolutely not.
A day after the elections, we just shot up a bunch of kids in the bar in California. We have no idea what the motive is yet.
No, we have no idea.
I have a feeling it's another incel thing.
Let's talk about that, because I have that as a story to talk about, and let's get onto it, because sadly, what was it? Is it 12 confirmed? 11 people in the bar, and one was a police officer, a sheriff. Yeah. And I guess the shooter himself.
I was going to say, let's include the shooter in there, because the shooter was
not much is known about him. He was a Marine veteran. He served in Afghanistan for a few years. We have no motive yet.
So far,
literally nothing known about him yet.
The only reason why I speculate that it was another one of these incel attacks is you look at how he went about it. He goes into a very popular nightclub, crowded nightclub
for college kids,
right? And just starts murdering at random. To me, that smells of somebody who feels disenfranchised by their by their demographic. The fact that he lit off a smoke bomb so he couldn't be seen is another kind of weird indicator to me. Well, it is smart, because again, you're now removing any level of humanity that the victims had, right? Now they're no one. You're just shooting into a cloud of smoke, right?
And they can't come for you.
Yeah. I find a lot of these kind of public shootings, like now again, the synagogue shooter, as I said on Monday's show, there's a lot of blame that you can fucking lay at Trump's feet for that.
Yeah.
And a lot of his supporters. Ones like this, though, because they're random and you don't know if you're killing people on the left or on the right or what have you, it just smells of, another one of these fucking incel fuckers.
I just have to say about these shootings, it's starting to become really scary.
Yeah.
For a person who suffers from anxiety, I don't know if I've ever described this on the show. If I do. Yes, I have anxiety. This really this is beyond anxiety. This is just a panic attack every day.
Yeah.
For you,
it makes you scared. It makes you scared to do anything normal. Like like when Marley goes out to a concert, I'm scared, and I don't tell her not to go. I tell her, make sure you guys have a plan, but I'm scared.
Yeah.
Well, but I kind of think that people also forget. You guys have mentioned all of the shootings and all of the attacks that have happened recently. Yeah. But the one thing that no one has yet to mention, I know if it's been spoken about on the show, is the guy who planned these bombs to go off.
Yeah.
After or during the elections.
Yeah.
That guy was caught on time before anything was supposed to happen. Thank God. But that is my point here is, yes, these are the ones that we are talking about because we see them, they're on the news.
Yeah.
But what about the ones that we have yet to
that's it. There's a lot of things that get caught that we, they don't make the news as much. But, I mean, they happen all the time. You've got
Thank God to our police forces.
People. Look, this guy had interaction with the police. He'd been seen by mental health specialists. So he was on the radar. But, they said that he was not an immediate danger to himself or others, and that he could not be involuntarily taken to a mental hospital.
He was an ex-Marine, for God's sake.
But he didn't come across as a danger to society, and sadly,
that's what I'm saying. He was an ex-Marine. The guy from Nevada, the Las Vegas shooting, he was not on the radar either.
No. And this is the saddest thing. There was 14 to 16 people last night. I don't know if all of them survived, that were at the Las Vegas shooting and survived.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
But I mean, this is par for the course, America. Like, I'm sorry, but this is the monster you fucking created. They're. I mean, again, now I can't speak on personal experience because I'm a Canadian and I've only been in the States a few times. But just from everything I've read, the people I've been lucky enough to encounter, you have bred a fucking climate of stand your ground, that everyone's life is worth less than your fucking life, and they're talking shit from a fucking child.
Yeah,
I used to hate it when people would say that, Arthur. I would get actually upset when people would say that. But I have to say that what you just said, that is the saddest truth. I said this weekend. I was having a meeting with a bunch of friends, and we were all talking about what's coming for the election. And I said, I'm tired of people saying, blame Trump, blame this, blame that, blah, 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 blah. I said, we have to also look within the rhetoric we're letting out publicly ourselves. I'll never forget a story. I was on my way home. I think I told Jacqueline the story. This was years back. It was before I was married. I was just at the bus stop. I was coming home from work. I'm on my phone texting, and I live in a heavily Asian neighborhood. And this guy happens to be Caucasian, walking by, just starts spouting off. And by no means was he provoked by anybody. This is why I want to get rid of all you chinks.
Wow.
And he just keeps walking and walking. And I'm kind of just looking at him like, what's going on? Like, was there a fight? I'm kind of looking, behind me, in front of me, what's going on? He's like, all of you need to be deported. You are a waste of resources. Imagine that. That was not something that was happening as heavily when Bush, Clinton, Obama was president. This is now a prevalent thing in the United States of America. Can I say that Trump is the cause of all of this? No, but I can say he's the start.
Well, people feel emboldened. They feel like the people that hold these types of values now feel like they have somebody in office that holds and shares the same values. So they're more vocal with their bullshit.
If our president believes it, I can say it too.
Right. But again, though, to me, the issue has always been the fact that the USA calls itself a melting pot, but it's never been a melting pot. You have to be Irish American. You have to be Dutch American. You have to be Chinese American. So all you're doing is you're creating divisions before we even have a chance to fucking get to know one another and realize, like, fuck, man, we enjoy all the same shit and we just want to live our lives and be happy and healthy and safe, right? It's a fucking problem. It's a goddamn problem. But America number one, you're never gonna fucking change. Like, I'm sorry, you're not gonna fucking change. It's not gonna happen.
Did you see that the state of Washington had a big vote on a midterm day? That the state overwhelmingly voted to have more control over guns, especially semi-automatic weapons like AR-15s. So
good. I brought this up before during our gun debates or our gun talks, whatever. If you feel so fucking unsafe that you have to carry a firearm on you at all times, how about addressing the actual fucking problem? Not your Trump card, not your fucking I'll murder somebody if I have to. Why don't you address the fact of what's making you feel so fucking unsafe? I live in a shittier part of the suburbs of Toronto. Like, I live in what would be known as a Canadian ghetto. And a lot of people don't feel safe here. I have never felt so goddamn unsafe that I need to have a fucking weapon on me. And I've never felt so weak that I need to have a fucking weapon on me. Why is nobody talking about the cause, like the actual root cause of what the fuck is going on to allow this level of violence? You know? And here's the craziest part. Brazil, way more fucking gun deaths. Fucking, like, astronomically more fucking gun deaths than the USA.
Yeah.
But they're almost all gang related. You know what I mean? It's not mass shootings. It's not just fucking some random fucking drive-by. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I don't care if criminals are killing criminals. That's a life you chose.
Well, even the same when you think about Canada. Now, granted, we have a fraction of the deaths that they have, but most of our deaths that come from gun violence are people involved in some sort of, not all of them, but most of them are involved in, some sort of criminal world.
Yeah. Well, just to kind of give a little bit of we all have not spoken in quite a while because we took a little bit of a break. 2 weeks ago, I was on vacation. I went to a gun range, a shooting range. You guys know I have nothing against guns. Grew up around guns with my father. And I was shooting a gun, and there was this guy who was shooting a really loud, big kind of a gun.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget while I was there, I made a comment to my friend, and my friend started like looking at me like I had 8 heads. I was like, I feel safer here, but at the same time, I don't trust the people who are here.
Exactly.
And she's looking at me as if I was nuts. I agree with the sentiment. Guns don't kill people. It's the people who have the guns that kill you. Yeah. But if you have an AR-15 or an Uzi, which can fire God knows how many rounds a second.
Yeah. It's like 60.
It's just nuts. It's 660.
Yeah, all kinds of crazy people dead. Gun shit happening. Not just these horrible, mass shootings, but look, we had the story of the kid last week. We can't get into too much detail, but the story of the kid who argued with his grandma about cleaning his room, and he came out and shot his grandma in the head with grandpa's gun. You had the story of the dog that was in the freaking truck with his owner and shot his owner by accident. Like stupid stuff happens with guns. So the more we have guns at hand just laying around, the more horrible things can happen. I'm not saying you can't have a gun. Please make sure your guns are put away somewhere safe.
That's all I'm asking. Shouldn't have a gun. I'm just saying be a responsible gun owner.
And I don't think anybody needs 10 AR-15s.
Nobody needs.
I think that should be limited. You only have 2 hands to shoot a gun at a time.
But to what Ryan was saying about feeling safer at the gun range, but not trusting them, I absolutely understand. Because you always have to look at these gun enthusiasts as people that are willing and ready to murder another human being. And if that doesn't fucking make you feel uneasy, there's something fucking wrong with you.
And I love. I just want to tell you guys the experience. I loved every minute, every second of it. I shot 5 guns. I had so much fun.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
The Glocks felt so great in my hands. I was imagining that the target was something, but Arthur and Jacqueline know that little inside joke. I'll never forget the instructor was like, "Were you aiming for the head the whole time?" I was like, "Yes, I was," and I had a lot of fun.
Yep.
However, there was a moment when I was next to these fat boys, and they were fat boys, and you can tell that they were a little inebriated. Because the instructor himself was like, "Guys, you have to kind of calm down." Because it was
in my opinion, they shouldn't even be allowed at the gun range if they've been.
Well, obviously, I can't comment on that because again, it's just my opinion. But they were obviously inebriated, to me at least. Yeah. It was the 3 of us. There was a group of 7 people, and I'm standing there and I'm shooting, and this guy, as I'm holding the gun, shooting, clamps my shoulder and says, "Good shot, bro." My instructor then grabs this guy and says, "Do not do that."
Yeah, that's so dangerous.
But this is my point. People don't seem to realize the dangers. If I was some sort of hothead, crazy individual,
just had a knee-jerk reaction.
I could have shot him, but thank God I had the common sense to be calm and just kind of like, thanks, bro. Like, don't do that again.
Yeah.
But
my gosh.
Again, this conversation goes around gun safety. It goes around. I have nothing against people who have guns. Oh my God, if you have a gun, cool for you. Good for you, bro.
Yeah.
But my life is not lesser. And Arthur, I'm going to steal your line. Is not lesser than yours because of your opinion.
No, fuck no.
No.
Fuck no. Again, guns are cool. I've never had an issue with them. But if you're ready and willing to murder somebody, you're not somebody that I want to fucking know.
Yeah,
you're not somebody that I want around.
Yeah.
You're not somebody that I feel comfortable with having in my society. Like flat out. Now you want to call me a fucking populist for saying that kind of shit? Cool, whatever. Suck my dick. Don't fucking care. My safety and the safety of those that I love, meaning all fucking Canadian citizens, trumps your fucking weakness. It trumps the fact that you're a little scared little bitch and are too fucking intimidated to address the fact of why you feel so scared.
Yeah. Why does anybody, maybe because we're not criminals, we don't understand the mentalities that they have.
Yeah.
I don't understand why anybody would want to walk around. Again, I repeat this, why anybody would want to walk around
because you're not afraid
of guns.
Now,
or you're not trying to prove something, right?
Now, in the realm of the criminal world, I get it. And if I would have, veered a little too left in my younger days, I would probably have a fucking pistol. And you know what I mean? It's just the fucking nature of the game. But as far as civilians go, it does aggravate me knowing that there are people out there, people that I've had very touching and great conversations with, but they would murder me in a second if they had to. That is so unnerving.
That's scary.
Knowing that you, Ryan, live in a fucking nation where probably 75% of the people are willing to fucking murder you at the drop of a fucking hat, You know what I mean? That's gotta fucking.
But again, this is the 3 strikes you're out rule, right? Mm-hmm. If and again, I'm gonna put race in this a little bit.
Yep.
For you, maybe it's just because you're Arthur. Mm-hmm. For me, it's you're an immigrant, you're gay, you're you're fat, you're bald. I don't know what other reasons there are, but I'm just pointing out those obvious things about me. You're a leftist or you're a Democrat, and in my eyes you are. But imagine that is how many strikes does a person have to have for them to be shot? How many bullets do we have to fire until we realize there is real violence going on when it comes to guns? I have nothing against guns, as I've said before. This is not my first time being in a gun range. This is, I grew up with guns around my father. He's taught me how to at least safely fire one. Why do we still feel the need to constantly say to anybody who's saying, I don't feel safe around people who have 8 guns, that they're wrong for having that opinion? Or why do we also say in the same rhetoric, why does a person necessarily need to have a gun? My conversation is, why are we allowing crazy nut jobs to have 10 guns?
Yeah. No, I agree.
My constitutional rights. There's really no other way to boil it down except for the fact that it's there. And I can't see your constitution getting amended anytime soon without a bloody fucking civil war.
Nope.
All right, so I mean, we're fucked if we do, and we're fucked if we don't. Most people that see the world for what it truly is, and lives in the gray area, not in the red or the blue, we're fucked. Like, you know what I mean? Like, our rational thoughts don't matter. We never
don't matter.
Exactly. Our thoughts will never reign supreme because we're not fucking psychopaths, and we won't stand on a street corner with a bullhorn accosting people crossing the fucking road. You know what I mean?
What would you do if you were going to do that? Like, I'm not religious. I'd have to stand there and I'd have to be like, I don't even know what I would be that passionate about.
If I were to yell at people on the street with a megaphone, fuck, man. Yeah. I don't know, actually.
I mean, what am I going to be like? I really don't like Taylor Swift's music. Like, what am I going to get out there and be passionate?
The fact that we just stumped Arthur, we just have to give ourselves a little bit of credit for that.
I mean, if he was in, downtown Edmonton, he could talk about how bad the Oilers are. But...
I would just talk about how shitty everyone from fucking Alberta is and get beaten up in the first fucking minute. And still be like, fuck you Westerners.
No teeth.
Fuck you. Yeah, I'd fucking look like the rest of them. Oh.
No, but this is part of the conversation that is so important to have. It's part of that nerve that I have every day as a regular human being who does not own a gun, who doesn't walk around touting my political beliefs to every single person out there. What scares me is we seem to categorize everybody into this one pot, and then we say, shoot. Whether it be vocally, whether it be physically, whether it be emotionally or mentally even, we just say, shoot, let's attack. It's that whole thing that happened with Tucker Carlson. It's the whole thing that's going on with Jim Acosta. We are divided because we are uninformed.
And again, let's face it, violence is the best vindicator there is. It really is. You know what I mean? You'll never make somebody submit in the way you can with violence. And violence has always been humanity's trump card. Like, always. Like, you can't convince me otherwise. Why'd the fucking Hittites fucking attack, the Jews? Because they want to show their dominance over them. That's humanity. Like, that's just what the fuck we do. Now, if we're supposed to be enlightened, living in the age of free information shit, why are we still following these barbaric practices?
Yes.
Oh, excuse me. Why do we still value warriors over, just your regular run-of-the-mill, peasant or whatever the fuck you want to say?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Warrior culture died out. Like, it's dead. We don't need warriors anymore. I don't need a bunch of fucking face-painted Maori in a fucking field doing their hakas. I don't need that shit. That shit's done. It's over with. Now, I understand from a cultural standpoint wanting to hold on to those traditions. That's cool. Fuck, wicked, awesome. But we don't need warriors anymore. We're done that. We're past that shit. You know what I mean? Not until we fuck the world over completely and we start at fucking zero again will we need warriors.
Yeah.
That's going to be a very long time coming, hopefully. But
hopefully,
I agree with Arthur on that. I feel like everybody feels the need to protect themselves from something. Yep. It's like the white nationalists and the KKK and the neo-Nazis feel like they have to protect their white culture. Yep. The oh my God, this is going to come up very racist, but the African Americans feel the need to protect themselves, although there is an attack on them, especially in the United States of America. But there is this constant fear of having to protect your culture, and it's like, holy fuck, yes, we are under attack. Maybe yes, I get that sentiment, but who says we should shoot each other? You know what I mean? Like these 3 guys who were arrested at the airports, who were beating people up who were counter protesting them at their white nationalist rallies in the United States. These 3 guys they were shocked that they were arrested. They were caught on video doing these things multiple times.
Is that the Proud Boys? Yeah, I watched that shit. That was actually pretty funny. You know, and like, again, like, the perfect example. These guys start a clique, a fucking group for what? It's a fucking gang. It's just to feel tough. It's to feel fucking... I mean, I just don't understand. I cannot relate to feeling so fucking weak that I need to go out and hang out with people that espouse. Now, again, I'm not going to call the Proud Boys racist. They're fucking stupid, but they're not fucking racists. I mean, not at least fucking full-on outerly. But, you know, like... the whole fucking thing's just dumb. Like, nobody respects anybody. Nobody gives a fuck about your life. No one cares about the fucking, you know, the holes it'll leave if someone fucking ends your life. No one fucking cares about any of us.
No one cares about how your family is going to feel once you're gone.
No one gives a fuck about you. As long as they can feel vindicated in their fucking bullshit, then, you know, it's a fucking...
They care long enough to type thoughts and prayers, and that's it.
And that's it. That's it. You know, even half these fucking morons in the streets fucking protesting, you think they actually give a fuck about social change? No, they only care about fucking feeling like they've done something, like they fought a good fight. But none of them have ever fought in a fight in their lives. You know, with Remembrance Day, which is essentially Canada's Memorial Day on the horizon, you know, you hear all these anti-fascists out there fucking, you know, fucking punch the Nazis or bash the fashion shit. But these are the same fucking pricks that would have cowered in the face of true fucking fascism. These little fucking shits.
Show up at the Somer at Passchendaele and show me what you would do.
You know what I mean? Like, no, I refuse to fucking give a fuck about any of these people because, again, like, they don't matter. None of these people fucking matter. The idiots on the alt-right that are fucking espousing all this bullshit, their opinions don't fucking matter. They're a small fraction. The idiots on the left and the anti-fascists and all that shit, they don't fucking matter. Like, none of this shit matters, but so much we spend so much time online. We're all living our lives through a fucking screen, and we're seeing the worst of the fucking worst because us regular people just can't comprehend the fucking idiocy that goes that's involved into making some of these statements. Like, I'm sorry, if you ever said that fucking Donald Trump is literally Hitler, I don't care about your opinion anymore. I don't give a fuck about anything you have to say. You could have the best fucking pot brownie recipe in the world, and I'd still tell you to shove it up your fucking ass because you're a moron, and I don't fucking care. Like, I hope you're castrated so, you know, you don't pass your stupid fucking gene pool on. Seriously, I'm getting so fucking fed up with it all. I really
The news just kind of makes you a little bit... I have nothing against the journalists. I have nothing against the reporters. I have nothing against the pundits.
They're just doing their jobs.
They're doing their jobs, but I'm now starting to... I used to love listening to the news. I used to love reading the articles, but I have found myself shying away because we are at a time where I think people have to sit down. This is going to sound super gay of me, but you have to sit down and you kind of have to reflect. You get what I'm saying? You have to reflect on where is it that you yourself are potentially going wrong, and how are you contributing to this problem?
Gay.
That is but you get what I'm saying? Like,
no, I 100% agree. Yeah.
Because I feel like we're so easy to blame, Arthur, it's because Arthur has a beard and I blah, 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 blah. Like, we're so easy to blame another person and we're not realizing. But in the same sentiment, you just said that guy is a chink.
Right.
Don't you think that you're adding on to the problem? You know?
Self-awareness is not people's fucking strong suits right now.
No.
Like, it's really not. People love pointing the fucking finger, but if you ask them to reflect on themselves, They can't tell you fucking one thing that's wrong with them, which to me is disgusting.
This is going to sound so ridiculous, but this is one of the reasons I kind of like taking BuzzFeed questions or quizzes, because they always say, you know, what's a word to describe you, or what's one of your worst flaws? And, you know, like, then I'm forced to say, am I angry all the time? Am I bitter? Am I too judgmental? And I admit it, almost all the time I'll put that I'm judgmental. I know I'm judgmental, you know?
You know, I've spent the last few years, you know, my mid-20s to my, you know, now my 30s, you know, trying to be self-reflective. No, in all honesty, though, because I noticed that I was going down the path of always being like, well, it's your fault that this is fucked up for me, and it's your fault that you. No, that's fucking wrong. That's not healthy. It's not helping me at all. And it wasn't until I started realizing, well, no, Arthur, this is why you're a piece of shit. You know, that I finally was able to kind of work on a bit of that stuff. Yeah. And a lot of that's missed on people because they don't care. They don't give a fuck that it's their own life choices. It's, you know, they can't accept the fact that they're the reason why their life's shit, not because of all these other mitigating factors.
You can't find a man or a woman, but you keep going to the same dive bars and meet the same fucking meth heads, you know?
Like it's something. I don't know. There's a disconnect, I believe, that we have now. Oh fuck, that dog's mad. You know, but there's a disconnect that people have nowadays, and I don't see where it came from. I mean, I get the feeling that it does have to deal with the fact that we live so much of our lives online now, where you're never really looking in a real mirror. You know, like we're just you know, we never see our actual true reflection. We're just seeing this lie that we've built online,
our social media person,
right? And we feel like that's who we are, but that's not who you are. You know what I mean? That's not.
Well, there's a life.
No, my social media person's fat girl angles. Come on.
Yeah. Well, you know, there is a life. I used to be obsessed with people knowing what I was doing because I was like, oh my god, you're gonna be jealous because I just ate at this restaurant. Like, I used to be excited about this stuff until, like you said, I'm still in my 20s. I was kind of starting to get really annoyed with the fact that people felt the need to post everything. Yeah. And then I took this huge break from social media. I barely have social media, by the way. I think I only have a Facebook. I may have some fake accounts out there to stalk people, but that's about it. Which I don't have access to anymore. But I've learned to live a life offline. Yeah. And you have to realize there's something offline as well. For those people who were easily influenced by the Russians, so-called, during 2016, during the election then, it's because you live your life online.
You're only reading headlines.
I don't think it's necessarily people live their life online, too, because I think there's some people who are just willfully ignorant.
Well, there is that. But, you know, again, people are living their lives online. And even if they're not living their entire lives online, they still prefer the image they've built of themselves on the internet than they do the truth. And to me, that is the problem. Wake up. You know what I mean? Like, wake up. Like, just honestly, if people would take a good, hard, honest look at themselves and be really fucking honest with themselves, I think a lot of this shit would end. You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of the fakeness, a lot of the name calling, a lot of the bullying would end.
A lot of the dying and the killing too.
Yeah. Well, there it is. That's the fucking outcome of this just complete lack of self-awareness. You know, I mean, again, let's face it, people. None of you are more important than any of us else. Yeah. You're not. You don't have the right to take a fucking life. You know, now there are circumstances that, if someone's trying to fucking kill you, you know, and by chance you fucking kill that person, you know, it is what it is. You know, I can't say if I'm for or against that, but
if you got to fight to the death to live, you know,
like
die,
it is what it is. You know,
Hunger Games,
but it's not. No, but it's not the same. You know, if someone comes in and is attacking me and I'm fighting for my life, that's a little different than, you know what, I'm mad at the world and I'm going to go kill 12 innocent people in a box.
Exactly. Like it's not in the same vein. And I really wish more of humanity would take that stance. Yeah. I really do.
Yeah. And, you know, like, I mean, I get that people want to have a gun, you know, okay, because I'm going to feel safe if somebody attacks me. I'm going to have my gun to protect myself. I get that. I get why you want that. But when you take that gun out with you and you're driving around with you, and I mean, I would assume that 90% of the people that have a gun never encounter somebody that they truly have to defend themselves from.
Oh, fuck no.
Half the time, people who are responsible gun owners, I read this article, don't even feel the need to constantly have their guns with them.
Yeah, right. But I mean, I don't know. Like, and in all honesty, as weird as it is, there's only 2 countries where this is really a problem. and that's America and the Philippines.
Ooh.
As weird as it is, right? Like, I was actually just reading about this, that the Philippines actually, like, really do mimic American gun crime and gun laws. Like, they are just as infatuated.
Well, the Filipino Constitution, the Constitution of the Philippines is a mimicry of the American Constitution, right? Yeah. And the presidency of Duterte, although he came into office months before Trump did, is again a mimicry of this whole sentiment of Donald Trump. Donald Trump saying we should be killing these drug addicts is exactly what Duterte is doing in the Philippines.
Well, exactly. Trump says it, Duterte's doing it. Yeah. That motherfucker puts his money where his mouth is.
But for people who don't realize the rhetoric that Donald Trump had the day after the elections, calling the media the enemy, that is exactly what Putin is doing. Or has done, or it's what's happening in Russia and in these totalitarian governments.
Well, again, and then you start emboldening these fucking wacko conspiracy theorists that already have a beef with the media, right? And then you get this fucking Ciroc moron who then goes, okay, well, now I'm mailing these fucking bombs. You know? Fuck, that thing's still fucking with me. I was reading up again the other day, just after Monday, about it, and there was a former military EOD expert, and EOD is explosive ordnance disposal, and he was going off about those weren't real bombs.
Oh my God.
Bombs don't have wires, they don't have this, they don't have that, and then he went into detail on how to make a pipe bomb, and I kind of stopped reading it there because I'm fairly certain I'm already on a watch list, and I don't need someone. But yeah, no, more it's just not.
Even Geraldo Rivera himself, whose daughter works for CNN, by the way, said that this was a hoax until, like, how stupid are you people? Oh, like, my God.
It was not a hoax. They were mailed. You know what I mean? Like,
they were real.
What we seen is what we saw. Like, that shit was all real. Now, I was saying on Monday, there's some of it that I personally can't bite. Like, that's just me being the skeptic that I am. If I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm fucking wrong. You know what I mean? I just don't understand how you sent a $12 or a 12-pound package with $2 in postage. Motherfucker, that ain't working. Like, that's not working. Like, I'm sorry, not fucking sorry. That's not getting through. But I mean, again, the rhetoric that 45 spews is definitely emboldening these fucking psychopath fucking conspiracy theorist believers. And they're now going from drawing red lines on their walls with newspaper clippings to shooting places up or fucking sending bombs and stuff.
Killing innocent people, real innocent people who want nothing, who want to be nothing but just alive.
Right?
Yeah, and we're killing them. Yeah.
The synagogue shooting, like, prove to me that any of those people were political. They could have all been apolitical.
The biggest thing about that is they were all elderly and, like, you know, there was even, like, mentally disabled people. Yeah. Like, you literally went on the most vulnerable, weakest people you could find.
Now, again, like,
I hope you get fucked up in jail, buddy.
I've never hid my fucking disdain for all religions.
Yeah.
You know, never hid that. But nobody deserves to be fucking mowed down in their house of worship.
Nope.
Where you are the most vulnerable. Because
and to have your president say, "Oh, maybe people should be there with their guns." No, that's not going to make the world better. You know what's going to make the world better?
That's not the answer to everything.
The kill mentality that.
Right?
Oh my God! It's crazy. This is we're attacking people in the wrong. And not that I'm saying attacking people in general was good. We're attacking just people. I'm afraid of actually just going into a facility of sorts with a group of people who may love red lipsticks, because I feel like there's some red lipstick hater out there who's just going to start shooting us.
Yeah.
What kind of society do we live in? That's the ultimate question that I want everybody to go home to and kind of bathe in. Like, what society are we living in?
The one that we don't want to live in.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I don't want to live like this. I don't want to fucking live like this. I don't want to live with my fucking neighbors being scared. I don't want to be scared. I don't like knowing that my friends and family could possibly, you know what I mean? This is fucking stupid. It's insane. Now, I mean, again, the world's always been fucked up, and you've always had extremists that are willing to go out and commit extremist fucking bullshit. But, I mean, I just cannot believe that we haven't moved past that. I can't believe that where we are, and like I was saying on Monday, the most peaceful and prosperous and progressive time in all of human fucking history, and yet we still have to deal with this fucking barbaric fucking nonsense. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, you worship a different god, so your life is now void. Go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Like, no, I don't understand how any of us can accept that. And that's not a right or left fucking thing. Like, that's a human versus fucking piece of shit thing. You know what I mean? Like, this is, throw all your politics out the fucking window. I don't care when it, in this vein, you know, this is literally about every human being having the right to fucking live their life until they die of old age. I do not understand.
Or of natural causes. You know what I mean?
Or they do something stupid like jump off a cliff, then that's their own choice.
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Like, just be in your synagogue or in your, you know, in your prayer place, wherever you want to do it.
Like, essentially, my point is nobody should be fucking, no one's life should be ended short because somebody else decided it. Like, no, that's not acceptable. That's not
the lack of humanity that's going on. I mean, that is the ultimate thing that I get mad about. It's just, this is a complete lack of humanity on everybody's behalf. When Ryan, who is the age that he is, has to be afraid of going to the grocery store, you really, I have not been out of my house doing something out and about in a very long time. And it's because of this. And I'm not blaming society, and I'm also not going to go ahead and grab a gun and start shooting people. But this tells you the anxiety radar that we are on. Because I used to just, Jacqueline knows, I used to just be out and about getting drunk, getting home on the train, 4 o'clock in the morning, drunk as hell. Now I am a grandmother in my own home, covered in a blanket, trying to find ways to hide if somebody were to come and shoot my house up.
Like, which is so sad. It's so sad that people, like, even hearing that, like, that you feel like you can't go out and enjoy your fucking life because you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. Like, I don't understand how anybody can hear that and not get depressed as shit. You know, that is not what we built here in the West. It's just not. I don't get why we accept it.
And I mean, like especially like you said, the West, the greatest country in the world, America, the land of, you know, the land of dreams and opportunity.
But you know, you have to fucking be scared to go outside because a fellow countryman of yours, who should by all means have the exact same values as you, might just end your fucking life on a whim. On a whim. You fucking walk too close behind me. This is stand your ground state, and I fucking murdered you. And I get to go home to my family while your family's in fucking tattered pieces because I'm a fucking scared little bitch
played your
of
music
the
too loud
fucking
in
world
a car
that
next
I
to me.
created.
Okay, well, we went like 10 minutes over, so I guess we should end. That's okay. Sometimes you gotta go. Thanks for listening. We'll be back Monday. Have a good week, and don't shoot anybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Don't die.